So once you decide that you want to move to Mexico, the next thing you need to decide is where to move in Mexico. And everyone has kind of their own process, but I'm going to be interviewing in this video a couple. I'm here in La Paz on the Malecon, and you might recognize these two from YouTube. This is Gene and Renee Travel Adventures, and they're going to be telling us about kind of, you know, my typical interview format. What got you to move to Mexico, and how are you deciding really? Because they're just driving around trying to pick the right spot. What's that like? And what are those things that they're looking for in Mexico? So we're gonna walk down the Malecon here in La Paz, and they're gonna do most of the talking from this point forward. So we're gonna see, I've never done this kind of like walking video thing. So this is gonna be interesting, but you'll get some new different background here. We have Estrella del Mar in the background, right at the end of the Malecon, and hopefully this video ends before we reach the other end, which is like 5 miles away. Let's start with these guys just introducing themselves, and I wanna hear the story of before Mexico, getting into retirement, pre-retirement, right before retirement, and getting into deciding to retire and come to Mexico.
Okay. I'm Gene and
Renee.
And we're from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I was a building contractor for a bunch of years, and then was a pastor of a church churches for about 25 years. Right about during the time of COVID. Had gone out hiking with a buddy of mine and was in touch with another friend that was in the hospital, same age as I am, and I'm getting ready to turn 60, and he had had 2 major heart attacks and they were unplugging him. And like 2 or 3 days later, a good friend of mine that was in early 50s, athletic kind of guy, he was in the hospital dying of COVID. And so we talked about it and we said, you know, maybe now is the time. Why wait until you're like 80 years old or 90 years old and you can't do it? Now is the time to retire and go see the world. We both had been to Mexico before. As a child, came with my parents to Acapulco and done the cruise ship thing, come into Cozumel and to Cancun. Love Mexico. And we've done some mission trips. Nuevo Rosita, south of Eagle Pass, and Ciudad Acuna. And just love the people, the friendliness, everything about Mexico. And so we decided to start traveling here and find our happy place. We drive in a Subaru Forester. Every time we see someone that says, you know, you drive, well, you drive one of those big RVs? No. What, you fly in? No. No, we're driving a little car, and with a toy poodle, and our possessions. Because you know, we sold our house in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We put some things in storage for later when we decide where we want to be. So we started traveling, drove to Puerto Vallarta last year, spent 3 months in Nuevo Vallarta while they were changing their name to Nueva Nayarit.
And actually, I want to step back a second here, and I want you to talk more about getting rid of your stuff. You sold your house, but I know there was more than just a house being sold.
Right.
So yeah, you purged.
Yes.
So, Renee, tell us what you guys purged. You might have to speak up a little bit because there's traffic.
Yeah. We purged. Well, I love Mini Coopers, so we sold a Mini Cooper convertible and a classic Mini that was right-hand drive from Britain, and our SUV and a truck. A lot of our furniture we either sold or we gave to our kids, and we put enough in storage, like you said, for a 2-bedroom.
So yeah, so these guys are in it to win it, even though they don't have that permanent place yet. So they pretty much know they're permanently out of where they used to be. And you can follow on their channel where they're going around looking at places. There's some places they looked at in the US, but for the most part, you guys are looking to live in Mexico. So let's talk about where you've been looking in Mexico.
Gosh, well, I say Nueva Vallarta. We love Puerto Vallarta, kind of loud. And so Nueva Vallarta, or Nueva Nayarit now, was a little quieter, more our speed. Love the place. We were actually in Valle Dorado there. Some of the nicest people you would ever want to meet. Great food.
Good restaurants.
Oh yeah.
Yep, community. Yep.
So I always think of Nuevo Vallarta as like a bunch of really tall condos.
Not where we were.
Well,
okay.
They are, but if you come back and cross the main highway,
200.
Highway 200 is an area called Valle Dorado,
Okay.
And there are a lot of condos there and little neighborhoods and the little local eateries.
Behind a Walmart.
Yeah, we lived behind a Walmart.
There are lots of Walmarts in Mexico. So you were there for a few months,
3 months, right?
3 months, and what'd you think?
We loved it.
We loved it.
Yeah, we were there, like February, March, April,
Yeah.
and then drove to Guadalajara to get our car serviced at a Subaru dealership. Only there for like 3 days, but Guadalajara is neat. We liked it there.
Big city.
Very big
Yep.
city. And then from there drove to San Miguel de Allende for 3 months there.
Nice. So I haven't been myself to Guadalajara yet. That's definitely on my list. But
yeah,
definitely San Miguel is a wonderful place. So then I kind of got a little bit of the story. So we're going to fast forward a little bit from leaving, taking a grandson back to the United States, and then coming back into Mexico. So let's get us, where did you come back in?
well, this time we drove all across the Southwest and into California, spent a week in Desert Hot Springs, California, and experienced the desert, which was, I guess, the precursor for
29 palms.
yeah, 29 Palms. 29 Palms. That was our introduction to desert life a little bit. Then came down to San Diego and was it National City,
National City.
and then crossed the border there at Tijuana and drove from there. Spent 2 months in Ensenada, and then started working our way down. A couple of days in Guerrero Negro, a couple of days in Loreto, and now a month in La Paz.
Very nice, yes. I'm gonna ask you, did you get your FMM at the border? Because especially in Tijuana, it's easy to miss the step, to just drive straight across the border. I have a whole video about that. Or are you guys residents, or where's that?
Where?
Smooth sailing.
Temporary residence.
Nice.
Yeah, we had our
So,
temporary
no
residency from last
FMM.
year.
Don't get your FMM.
Yes,
You're
that
a temporary resident.
makes things very easy and legitimate when you just drive right across the border.
Yes.
I mean, they were pulling some cars aside to check them all out, and as we just rode by, the guard looked at me and I held up my temporary residency card, and he said, "Right on through, buddy."
Very nice, very nice. So let's talk about, how are you going to decide? What's your process going to be to decide, like, when it's time to stop and say, this is the place?
There's a time to stop? What do you mean? Well,
And maybe that isn't the goal, because a lot of people travel a lot. So,
we love traveling, and like, we have that 15-year-old dog, and so for right now, we need to travel places where we can drive, and she can be with us. Been in like 43 countries, and so there's a lot over in Europe and a lot in Asia that I want to go back to see. But I want to have a place in Mexico to be able to come back to on a regular basis, and plus keep some of our things there.
it's kind of a home base in Mexico.
Well, we're paying a fortune in storage fees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could probably buy a place in Mexico cheaper. You probably rent here in Mexico is cheaper than storage fees in the United States.
Yeah.
If you're in an expensive area, at least. If you're out on the coast.
Right.
So I don't know, for us, I mean, what do you think? I mean, beach is important to us,
Yeah.
and being near the beach. And that coming from, I mean, I can swim, she can't swim, but we love the beach. If it's nothing but just sitting on the beach and looking out at the waves and, starting your morning off there or finishing your day up there, it's, it's relaxing.
Peaceful.
So probably around the outside of Mexico. What about size of the town or the climate? It seems like the climate's all pretty much hot in the summer if you're on the beach. But yeah.
We're from Virginia Beach, Virginia, so we were used to seeing it, 97, 98 degrees with a 98% relative humidity. It can't be but so bad.
Yes. So I want to know more about what they're looking for in a city, because really I love La Paz, and a lot of people I know love La Paz. So yeah, let's talk about that city that you're looking for, the perfect one.
Well, La Paz is nice. It's got the modern conveniences. It's maybe a little bit larger city than we were looking for, but it's nice. There are enough expats here that we can have English-speaking friends,
Yep.
along with Spanish-speaking Mexicans that we hope to meet.
You remember you have to be our age. Donnie and Marie Osmond, and there was that song, I'm a little bit country and I'm a little bit rock and roll. Well, you know, she likes the big city and all the cool things to do. I'm the smaller town guy. I like, when we were in Loreto, I guess about a month ago, that was really neat. That was a nice small town, and I think that it used to be the capital of Baja. And,
yeah, I think so, at one point.
Yeah,
because before it split.
Before they split and before
Yeah.
La Paz became capital of Baja California Sur, it was Loreto. And so you got those cool historic buildings and, you know, building contractor background. I love that architecture stuff. And it was very walkable, and it had a nice Malecon like La Paz has.
Yep.
And so that was cool.
One thing is that this is easier here to drive.
Versus
And-
Loreto?
No.
Oh.
Than San Miguel.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And really pretty much anywhere on the mainland Mexico.
Just because it's more chill, or what's
I
the...
think so. There it was a lot of people. One funny thing is I had never gotten a traffic violation
Oh, boy.
until
In
I
your
came
life?
to Mexico.
Oh, boy.
And it was in Buceras?
Usurias.
Buceras. Yep.
And they actually gave you the ticket.
They gave us a ticket.
You didn't get asked. Did you get asked for pay the ticket on the spot? Wow. So legit?
I was leery on giving them my driver's license, but they told me either driver's license or
Tags.
license plate.
Yep.
And
And so
they weren't getting those license plates because we'd use those special screws on.
Oh, yep. Yeah, and actually, so for those of you, I recently did a video, it'll be in one of these corners, I never remember which one, about what a proper traffic stop looks like in Mexico. And in most localities, if you don't have a local license plate in Mexico, or even a state license plate, they can take your license plate or your driver's license or your registration as a guarantee that you're going to come downtown and pay for the citation. Because if you're a tourist and you're just here for a week and you do, you know, rack up like 50 different citations and you just leave, they've got nothing. But
right.
if they have your license, you're going to go downtown and you're going to deal with it. So watch that video. That's the legit traffic stop.
And it works because we were there at their office the next morning to get her license.
Yep.
Pay the fine.
What was the fine? How much was it?
$23,
$24, something like that.
US.
Yeah, so this is not big bucks. I mean, it's usually, most fines down here are pretty reasonable.
And they were so nice about it too. When we paid, they said, "We hope to see you again." I mean, it was like family.
Yep. Did they speak English?
Yeah.
The
police? Okay. So yeah, I think that's the other thing. Like here in La Paz, well, Brucerias is a smaller town, and it's got a lot of foreigners in it. In La Paz, it's a bigger town, and there's not a lot of English-speaking people who work for the police. Very few officers that will speak English. The people like downtown definitely don't speak English. So I think that's also something that's, you know, a little different. There are lots of people, lots of locals that will help you if you get into a situation you need some help with.
And we've done a lot with, I mean, our Spanish is small. We're learning, but I don't know, some people got the language gene and we didn't get it. And I think we learned like 15 words last year, and we might have 3 extras this year so far, but we're trying. And those police officers, when they stopped her, they spoke 0 English, and we spoke restaurant Spanish. That was about it. I could order a soft shell or a hard shell taco, but we communicated somehow or another, and it worked. They were nice. They were very professional about it.
Yeah, it's amazing how people down here, it seems like in Mexico, they're accepting of the fact that people are here who don't speak Spanish, you know, more so than we see some places in the United States, where there's kind of this like, you must speak English if you're in the United States. Down here, the attitude tends to be like, hey, it'd be great if you spoke Spanish, and we really appreciate it if you try, but otherwise we're just a really easygoing people, and we're gonna figure out how to make something work. Right. So do you have any advice for people who are trying to decide where to live?
Watch your videos.
Oh, yes. Watch
and your videos.
And, you know, do your homework. look at a lot of videos, and we've had folks that would ask us, hey, what about buying a place here? I said, don't buy a place. Go down there and, spend a couple of months. You can do an Airbnb, spend 1 month there, and if you want to spend like 3 months, then stay for a month, and then maybe look around for a rent-a-sign and rent from someone that's local, and kind of get to know the area. And you might find out that you love it. You might find out that you don't like it. But do your due diligence. Don't just jump in to something, without knowing what you're doing. And that's the same thing if you're moving to Virginia or moving to Oregon.
That's true.
I mean, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing, and this is my word to folks in the USA, is be nice to people.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it goes a long way everywhere.
Yeah.
As the people have been so kind to us in Mexico, no matter what the situation was, what we were running into, whether it was a problem or ordering food or whatever, they've been so kind, so nice. And my thoughts are, gee, I wonder, when folks that USA is not their home and they come there, how are they treated? Are they treated as kindly? I hope so.
Yeah, and I think it does. It depends a little bit where you are, but let's all pledge to be, no matter where we are in whichever country, to be the people that we want to interact with on the street, and not the people we'd rather not see.
Exactly.
Right.
So we've made it down here a little ways. I'm just gonna spin us all around. Everybody spin, everybody spin, everybody spin. There we go. Right here to the La Paz sign. So this is right kind of in the middle of the Malecon, and it's where I think we're gonna wrap up this video. So I wanna thank these guys for being here. We're gonna cut us off a little bit because up above, we're gonna have a video from their channel. So you can go over there, check them out, and there'll be a video, a companion video to this one, or some more people who have been, a playlist of people who have been searching for the right place in Mexico. Hasta luego.